What's up everyone, Royal Z here, and in this video I'm going to be breaking down how I shot a cinematic fitness video. If you landed on this video, chances are you either haven't shot a fitness video yet, or you're maybe looking to step up your fitness video game. Well, you landed on the right video regardless if you're one of those two people, because in this video I'm going to simplify how to achieve cinematic shots when filming fitness videos. I'm going to split this video up into 7 categories. Why shoot fitness videos? Gear, is pre-planning necessary, camera angles, composition, camera settings, and sound effects. Starting with who we're filming. So this video was actually shot completely for free for my friend Matt. When you're getting into any niche of video, and a lot of people will tell me this is the wrong thing to do, but I've always done this from the hop. And even now, if I do get into other niches of video that I've never touched before, I will go out and shoot a free video for somebody, or I'll do it for YouTube content like I'm doing today. But ultimately, when you do tap into new niches of video, filming your first few videos for free builds a portfolio. And having a portfolio piece really is key, because this helps you pitch the next client that will pay you real money for your work. Now, this ultimately just builds a portfolio that you could pitch not only professional athletes, but hobbyists, people who just love going to the gym, who look good, who take it seriously, but it's not their full-time job, but would still pay you for a really high quality video, franchise gyms, as well as privately owned gyms. And those last two ones are clients that you could approach that you can make some pretty serious money doing, or potentially put on a monthly retainer where the client actually pays you a set amount of money every single month to produce X amount of content for them every month. So you have reoccurring revenue coming in. Before we get into the gear that I use to shoot this fitness video, I want to mention something that no other fitness video tutorial on YouTube has ever mentioned before. A lot of the times when you film these cinematic videos of somebody working out, chances are they're a hobbyist. So they're not actually bodybuilding full-time. It's not their full-time job. Chances are they have a 9-to-5. They could maybe be a real estate agent on the side from their 9-to-5. They could be a full-time real estate agent. They could maybe have a locally owned business in your area. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is when you are filming in between sets, before when you're setting up, maybe after when you're just kind of talking, chit-chatting, keep in the back of your mind that regardless if somebody works somewhere else at a 9-to-5, or maybe owns their own business, is a real estate agent, whatever it may be, shooting the fitness video for somebody as a hobbyist could actually lead to work outside of the fitness video that you're shooting. So these fitness videos could very well turn into filming videos for a niche outside of fitness videos. And this has happened to me plenty of times before. So the camera that I used to film this video is really nothing special. It's a $1,500 camera body, the Canon R7. I did pair the Canon R7 with an RF to EF adapter, and I used the Sigma 35mm f1.4 lens on the R7 for the entirety of this shoot. Now, the last piece of equipment, which isn't necessary, but I did use for one shot, the rest of the video was handheld, was the DJI Ronin RS2. Now, the reason why I chose the 35mm focal length for this shoot is because I choose the 35mm focal length for almost every one of my shoots, whether it's a music video, a fitness video, an event recap video. The 35mm is always in my camera bag. It is by far my favorite focal length to use. Now, one trick of the trade when filming cinematic fitness videos is using prime lens. I highly recommend you use prime lenses because you're gonna get a sharper image. So when you use a prime lens, you get a sharper image. When you use a zoom lens, it's not quite as sharp as a prime. Now, the drawbacks to using a prime is that you cannot zoom in and out. But when you use a prime, you get a sharper image. And who's to say that you can't use your environment in the gym to your advantage, whether you need to back away from your subject or push in further. Now, if you guys are looking to purchase any of this equipment, check the link that I left in the description of this video. I left a whole kit that literally shows every single piece of equipment that I use. It's really nothing special, but you can get direct links to everything down there. Now, the Canon 35mm is an expensive lens. I would say it does cost around as much as the Canon R7 camera body, around that $1,500 range. Now, I tell people that if you don't own a 35mm, you can still shoot fitness videos. Just use what you got and just go out and shoot, because the more that you shoot, you know, especially fitness videos, let's say you haven't filmed a fitness video before and you're doing your first few for free. But then after that, you start charging $100, $200, $300, $500 per video. You're gonna be able to afford one of these pretty quickly if you really keep at it. Okay, so is pre-planning necessary for fitness videos? Call me crazy, but I actually absolutely hate pre-planning and shot listing my fitness videos. There's nothing wrong with pre-planning maybe the exercises you want to cover when you're filming, but other than that, I actually don't like doing any sort of shot list or pre-production for fitness videos. I like to go in there knowing what exercises I'm going to shoot, but then just totally freestyle it. And I feel like I always get the best footage when I do this, because I've tried shot listing my fitness videos and yes, they turned out great, but I almost feel like when I'd be on set with a shot list, it would almost suffocate my creativity a little bit. And I almost felt like I could have come out with a better video if I just, you know, had full creative reins on set and I trusted my creativity. I went out there and I just did my thing. So for cinematic fitness videos, I honestly just recommend that you make a list of exercises you want to do. Ask the athlete, you know, what exercises are you most comfortable doing, and just get as many creative angles as possible when you are filming. And a lot of the times, like, it sounds crazy to do this and super unorganized, but fitness videos are a different breed. And in my opinion, going in unorganized, you come out with absolute bangers of clips. So if I'm going into fitness videos with absolutely zero game plan, what am I relying on? It's very simple, two things: camera angles and composition. These are the two most important things when it comes to fitness videos. It's more important than the equipment, it's more important than your editing software. It's literally your composition and your camera angles. Okay, so by far my favorite camera angle to capture for cinematic fitness videos is placing my camera body below my chest level and slightly pointing the camera upwards at the athlete whenever I'm filming them. By pointing the camera upwards at the athlete or your subject, it makes them appear higher than life. It's kind of like a psychological thing when filming, and you see this a lot in movies, short films, stuff like that. But when you do this for fitness videos, you know, when somebody's lifting weights and there's almost this like perception of power, when you're pointing the camera up at the subject, it really puts a spotlight on the athlete. And I would say for about 90% of my shots, I'm always just slightly pointing the camera up at the subject. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can just slightly point the camera up at your subject or the athlete, or you can get like super down low and look directly up at the athlete, which really just takes this shot of looking up at your subject to the next level and really puts a spotlight on your subject, and you can get some really cool camera angles doing this. My second favorite camera angle to shoot when filming fitness videos is simply tracking the weight. So I simply stand about 3 or 4 feet away from the athlete, and all I'm doing is just handheld tracking the movement of the weight when the athlete's pushing the weight, whether they're doing a chest press, barbell curls. I'm tracking the weight up and down or side to side. So to really paint the picture for you guys, we're gonna use a barbell curl as an example. It's a really easy one to kind of reference off of. So here we see Matt doing a barbell curl, and as you can see, I'm moving the camera up and down as he moves the weight. So this is super simple, but it is important to not get too carried away, because if you do and you just are whipping your camera all over the place, you're gonna get really jittery footage. And if you don't have in-body image stabilization built into your camera, which essentially electronically stabilizes your footage, don't stress. 80% of the footage you've seen thus far was filmed with the Canon R7's IBIS turned off. I've always felt for fitness videos when shooting handheld that turning the in-body image stabilization off on the camera gives a more raw and natural look to the footage and keeps the viewers more engaged. Okay, so next up we have the camera rotation shot. Now, this is a very technical shot that I actually explained in this video right here, which I urge you to check out after you're done watching this video, because this camera rotation shot is what really takes your fitness videos to another level. I would explain it in this video, but I've already broken this camera movement down perfectly in my last fitness video tutorial. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, there was one gimbal shot that I did shoot specifically for this tutorial. Now, I call this the no post-production freeze frame effect. That's a lot of words to explain a camera movement, but I don't know how else to explain it. So basically what you do is you focus on your subject and you get them to do an exercise such as a flat or inclined dumbbell press. So they're laying back on the bench and they're just pressing up like so. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on the subject laying back on the bench, and they're gonna have the dumbbells in hand. They're gonna be at the top of the movement. I'm gonna focus on the subject's face, and I'm gonna start at one side of the bench. So I'm basically just semicircling around the subject. I'm gonna cue the subject to start slowly lowering the dumbbells. As they're lowering the dumbbells, I actually get them to stay at the bottom of the movement. So they're staying nice and still at the bottom of the movement. I start semicircling around the subject nice and slowly, shooting in a higher frame rate, such as 4K 60 FPS or 120 FPS, just for the ease of speed ramping. And as I'm getting to the tail end of that movement, I cue the athlete to then push the weight to the top. So as I'm getting to the end of the semicircle movement on the opposite side of the bench, they start pushing the weight up. And what this does is it creates a really cool freeze frame effect where it requires nothing in post other than a speed ramp, where you're literally just speed ramping around the subject while they stay completely still. And at the end of the movement, you just cue them to finish the movement. And it looks like this really cool freeze frame effect. Composition is key. So composition is basically the way that you're composing your athlete in a frame. So what does this exactly entail or mean? So basically when you're filming a shot, before you press record, compose your image. Look at your image through your viewfinder. Is there something in the background that shouldn't be there? Can you see other people in the background? If you can, maybe it's better to shift your camera angle, look up at the subject, get other pieces of equipment in the background. Just be very conscious of how you're actually composing your shot. Before you press record, just look at your viewfinder, scan from left to right on the image. Does this look good? So this entire video was shot in 4K 60 FPS, as well as sprinkling in the odd 120 FPS and 1080p. Now, I don't always recommend this to filmmakers or preach this on the channel, but when you are filming your first few fitness videos and you are maybe a little amateur to it, just film everything in 60 FPS because this gives you more footage to play around with to actually speed ramp and practice speed ramping, because I feel that speed ramping is so key when you are editing your fitness videos. Now, when I film anything in 60 FPS, I film at 1/125 shutter speed, and anything in 120 FPS, I film at 1/250 shutter speed. Those shutter speed values in correlation to the frame rates that I just mentioned are just rule of thumb shutter speed values that you should stick to even outside of fitness video filmmaking. In terms of aperture, I was filming between f1.4 and f2.8, depending on the shot. If I wasn't moving in and out from my subject, I was shooting at f1.4 because it's really easy to keep focus on a subject if you're just moving side to side rather than in and out. Now, if I was tracking a weight or I was pushing in and out on the subject, I did bump the aperture to f2.8 just so there's a little more wiggle room to play around with when I am manually focusing. And I just know I'm gonna be asked this in the comment section because I always do in every single one of my behind the scenes tutorials. But yes, I did manual focus for the entirety of this shoot. Every single shot that you've seen thus far was actually done using manual focus. I personally like to stick to manual focus for fitness videos because I have full control over what's in focus, and it eliminates any autofocus jumping or hunting. Don't care if you have the newest Sony with the craziest autofocus, you'll still end up getting autofocus hunting when you're filming these really unique shots. Investing in sound effects is actually really important for fitness videos, and I think that sound effects really tie the whole video together, whether you have a voiceover or not. If you don't have a voiceover, I think that sound effects are really necessary for fitness videos. The sound effect pack that I personally highly recommend and use all the time in my fitness videos is by Lobo Films. It's called Sounds from the Den. I'll leave a link to that in the description. It's not an affiliate link or anything. I just personally absolutely love that product and I highly recommend it to all creatives. Now, I highly recommend Epidemic Sound for not only royalty-free music that you can use in your fitness video edits, but you get thousands of sound effects that range from supernatural sounding sound effects to whooshes, hits, risers, all that good stuff. There's literally thousands of effects that you can choose from that work great for fitness video edits. So if you guys want to try out Epidemic Sounds for free, try out their sound effects completely for free, there is a 30-day free trial link in the description of this video. If you found value in this video and you want to step up your fitness video game further completely for free, make sure you check out out this other video tutorial that I created. It is so underrated on YouTube right now, and I give away all of my secret sauce when it comes to handheld filming techniques, specifically tailored towards fitness video filmmaking. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you in this next video.